In the world of numismatics, every coin tells a story, and for collectors, the thrill lies not only in the metal but in the history it carries. One of the coins that captures attention is the top 2 ultra-rare old head penny of the United States around the year 1900, often mistakenly referred to as a wheat penny, though it predates the famous wheat design introduced in 1909. The coin from 1900 belongs to the Indian head cent series, a design that ran from 1859 to 1909. This series holds a special place in American history because it reflects the growth of the nation at the turn of the century, when industry was booming, new inventions were shaping modern life, and the United States was entering the 20th century with confidence. Collectors often group these coins with the wheat penny era because both represent the beloved 1-cent denomination that many Americans grew up seeing in their pockets. The 1900 Indian head penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as there were no mint marks used for this series at that time. The obverse of the coin, often called the head side, shows Lady Liberty wearing a Native American feather headdress, which is why it is sometimes confused with a wheat penny or generically called a head penny. Around the portrait are the words, United States of America, and at the bottom sits the date, 1900. The reverse of the coin carries a simple yet elegant design of a laurel wreath tied with a ribbon at the bottom, with the denomination, 1 cent, boldly in the center. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them a rich reddish-brown color when first minted. Over time, the coins tone to shades of brown, red, or sometimes dark chocolate hues, all of which impact their collectible value. What makes this coin so special is the period it represents. In 1900, the United States had just stepped into a new century. The Spanish-American War had ended only 2 years earlier, and America was beginning to emerge as a global power. These little copper cents circulated in the hands of farmers, factory workers, shopkeepers, and children saving for candy or toys. A single cent could still buy something meaningful at the turn of the century, which is why these coins were such an important part of daily life. Holding a 1900 penny today is like holding a time capsule that connects directly to the people of that era. For collectors, condition is everything. A 1900 Indian head penny in well-worn circulated condition might only be worth $1 or $2, but higher-grade examples bring much more. A coin that has survived in extremely fine or uncirculated condition with full details visible on Liberty's headband and the feathers can command values in the hundreds of dollars. Coins that have retained their original red luster, which is rare after more than a century, are especially prized. In mint state condition, a 1900 Indian head cent can easily be worth several $100s, and some of the finest graded examples have crossed the $1,000 mark at auction. This shows how important quality and preservation are in coin collecting. Errors and varieties also play a role in the coin's desirability. While the 1900 Indian head cent does not have as many dramatic errors as later wheat pennies, some collectors search for repunched dates, doubled dies, or planchet flaws that can increase value. Any unusual strike from that year is considered a treasure, as it adds a unique story to the piece. Collectors love the chase of finding one coin that looks different from the rest, and sometimes those varieties bring in far more than the regular examples. Another reason the 1900 head penny is significant is that it represents the last decade of the Indian head series. Only 9 years later, the United States Mint would introduce the iconic Lincoln wheat cent in 1909, which was designed by Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln's centennial birthday. This makes the 1900 coin a bridge between two beloved series of American small cents. Collectors who study the transition from Indian head to wheat penny often hold the 1900 cent as a cornerstone coin that symbolizes the old era giving way to the new. The appeal of this coin is not only its value but also the stories people attach to it. Many collectors remember finding Indian head pennies in old jars, inherited boxes, or while searching through estate sales. For a long time, they could still be found in circulation, even as late as the mid-20th century, when lucky kids pulling them out of change would treasure them as something rare. Today, discovering one in circulation is nearly impossible, which is why they are cherished heirlooms in collections. Numismatics is not just about prices, though. It is about preserving history. A 1900 head penny reminds us of an America where horse-drawn carriages still shared streets with the first automobiles, where telephones were just beginning to spread, and where pennies actually had the power to buy things of value. It tells us about artistry too, because James B. Longacre, the chief engraver of the United States Mint, designed this portrait of Liberty in a feathered headdress back in 1859, and it lasted 50 years as the face of America's cent. That longevity shows how beloved the design was among the public. When you hold a coin like this, you are not just holding a small piece of copper. You are holding a story that spans over a century. For those who see it only as an old penny, it may not mean much, but for collectors and history lovers, it is a living artifact. Its scratches, its patina, it's where all tell a story of the thousands of hands it passed through. Each mark is a chapter in its journey. For collectors today, the 1900 Indian head cent, often mistakenly called a head wheat penny, remains a must-have. Its beauty, its connection to a turning point in American history, and its role as a link between the past and the dawn of the Lincoln cent make it stand out. Values continue to rise, especially for top-grade examples, making it both a sentimental and financial treasure. Whether you are just starting in coin collecting or have built a large collection, adding a 1900 head penny is like owning a piece of living American heritage. In the fascinating world of coin collecting, every coin has a story to tell, and the small copper coins of the early 20th century are no exception. Among these, the 1905 1-cent coin of the United States, often called a head penny or sometimes confused with a wheat penny, stands as an important piece of American history. Officially, this coin belongs to the Indian head cent series, a design that was in use from 1859 to 1909. By the year 1905, the design had already been in circulation for decades, and it had become one of the most familiar coins in American pockets. Collectors today value the 1905 penny not only for its age and beauty but also for the era it represents, as it was struck during a time when America was rapidly changing and preparing for the modern age. The obverse side of the coin, often referred to as the head, shows Liberty wearing a feathered headdress, a design created by James Barton Longacre, who was the chief engraver of the United States Mint in the mid-19th century. Though some mistake the figure for a Native American, it is actually a classical image of Liberty with Native-inspired adornment, symbolizing the strength and unity of the nation. Surrounding the portrait are the words United States of America, and at the bottom is the date, 1905. The reverse design displays a bold 1 cent in the center, encircled by a laurel wreath, with a shield placed at the top. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing just over 3 grams, and when first minted, it had a bright red luster that has since mellowed into shades of brown, red-brown, or deep chocolate tones depending on how it aged. What makes the 1905 penny particularly interesting is the period of American history it represents. At the time, Theodore Roosevelt was president, and the United States was emerging as a global power. Industry and technology were transforming daily life. Electricity was spreading, automobiles were slowly beginning to appear, and the Wright brothers had flown their airplane only 2 years earlier. Yet for everyday people, the 1-cent coin remained a valuable part of daily commerce. A single penny could buy candy, small household items, or contribute to a savings jar. Farmers, workers, and children all used these coins daily, making them an essential part of life. In 1905 terms of mintage, over 80 million of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Since the Philadelphia Mint did not use mint marks on cents during this period, every 1905 Indian head penny carries only the date, without additional letters to mark the origin. While that large mintage number may suggest they are common, time has made high-quality examples far scarcer. Most of the coins circulated heavily, becoming worn and losing much of their original detail. Finding a well-preserved example today, especially one with sharp details and bright original color, is a true prize for collectors. Condition plays a major role in the value of the 1905 penny. A well-worn example that circulated for many years may only be worth $1 or $2 to collectors. However, if the coin is in better condition with visible details, especially the letters of Liberty on the headband, its value rises significantly. In extremely fine condition, where the coin still shows strong details and minimal wear, values can range from $10 to $30. In uncirculated condition, with no wear and full sharpness of design, the 1905 penny becomes far more valuable, often selling for $100 or more. The rarest and most valuable examples are those that have retained their full original red color, as very few coins survived more than a century without darkening or toning. In mint state red condition, these coins can sell for several $100s, and certified top-graded examples sometimes cross the $1,000 mark. Another area of interest for collectors is error coins and varieties. While the 1905 issue does not feature as many well-known errors as some other dates, specialists look for subtle varieties such as repunched dates, doubling in the design, or off-center strikes. These unusual examples add uniqueness and can significantly increase the value of the coin. For collectors, the thrill of finding one of these rare varieties is part of what makes the hobby so exciting. Beyond its physical and financial aspects, the 1905 penny holds sentimental and historical importance. It was part of the Indian head cent series, which would soon come to an end. Only 4 years later, in 1909, the United States introduced the Lincoln cent to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. That new design replaced the Indian head and introduced the wheat reverse, beginning a new chapter in American small cent history. This makes the 1905 issue one of the last coins of an era, a bridge between the long-lived Indian head design and the iconic Lincoln wheat penny that followed. For collectors, this transition adds to the appeal of owning a coin from this year. Holding a 1905 penny today is like holding a piece of living history. Each coin carries with it the mystery of its journey. It may have been exchanged in a small country store, dropped on the wooden floor of a train station, or saved in a child's jar for weeks at a time. Every scratch, every mark tells a story of where it has been. For modern collectors, these little details are not flaws but rather pieces of the coin's personal history. The design by James Longacre has also stood the test of time as one of the most admired in American coinage. His vision of liberty wearing a feathered headdress combined classical imagery with American symbolism, and it was beloved enough to remain on the cent for 50 years. By 1905, the design had become familiar to nearly every American, and though it would soon be replaced, it left a lasting legacy. Today, collectors view it not only as a beautiful piece of art but as a symbol of America's growth during the second half of the 19th century. For new collectors, the 1905 Indian head penny is an accessible and affordable entry point into coin collecting. While top-quality mint state examples can be expensive, circulated coins are common enough to be purchased without breaking the bank. This allows beginning collectors to own a genuine piece of American history that is over 100 years old. At the same time, the challenge of pursuing higher-grade examples keeps the coin attractive to advanced collectors as well. The 1905 head penny remains one of the most cherished coins of the early 20th century. Its story is not just about copper and design but about the people who used it and the time in which it circulated. Whether viewed as a collectible investment, a piece of history, or a work of miniature art, it continues to hold an important place in numismatics. Over a century later, its beauty, symbolism, and connection to America's past make it far more than just a penny. It is a treasure of history, a reminder of progress, and a lasting legacy in the world of coins.